What is an experience you had at a courthouse that you'll never forget? I hadn't seen Mr. Grayson in years, not since high school biology class. He was the teacher everyone loved, the guy who made learning fun, who'd crack jokes while explaining photosynthesis, who actually listened when kids had problems. He wore these old sneakers every day and kept a jar of Swedish fish on his desk that he'd share during tests. So when I got called for jury duty and saw him sitting at the defendant's table, I thought I was seeing things. The charges hit me like a punch to the gut: identity theft, mail fraud, forgery. I kept staring at him, waiting for someone to say this was all a mistake. But there he was, in a cheap suit, looking 10 years older than he should. During the trial, everything came out. For almost 8 years, Mr. Grayson had been stealing mail from this woman named Beth, who used to live next door to him. She'd moved away but never updated her address with some companies. He'd take her credit card offers, bank statements, tax documents, anything with her info on it. The prosecutor showed us spreadsheets. He'd opened 14 credit cards in her name, took out a personal loan for 30 grand, even filed fake tax returns to get refunds. Beth only found out when the IRS sent her a letter about unreported income from a job she'd never had. I kept thinking about how he used to help kids after school for free, how he'd buy lunch for students who couldn't afford it with his own money. This didn't make sense. Then Beth testified. She was probably in her 50s, seemed nice enough. She talked about how her credit was destroyed, how she couldn't get approved for an apartment lease, how she'd spent thousands trying to fix the mess he'd made. She cried when she described feeling violated, like someone had been watching her life from the shadows. But then the defense lawyer asked Mr. Grayson to explain why he did it. That's when everything got complicated. His wife had something called Huntington's disease. I'd never heard of it, but basically her brain was slowly dying and there was no cure. Their insurance covered the basics, but there were experimental treatments in Germany that might slow it down. Each round cost $40,000, and they needed at least 3 rounds. He'd tried everything: GoFundMe campaigns that barely raised 2 grand, borrowed money from family until nobody would lend anymore, applied for grants, clinical trials, charity programs, all rejected. His wife was getting worse every month, losing her ability to walk, to speak clearly, to remember things. So he started small, just 1 credit card application in Beth's name. He told himself it was temporary, that he'd pay it back somehow. But the treatments didn't work as well as hoped, and they needed more money for different trials. 1 card became 2, then 5, then 14. When he testified, he broke down completely. Said he knew it was wrong but couldn't watch his wife die when there might be something that could help her. He showed pictures of her from before she got sick. She looked happy, healthy, normal. Then pictures from last year where you could barely recognize her. The weirdest part was when Beth got called back to respond. The prosecutor asked if this changed how she felt about the case. She sat there for like a full minute, just thinking. Finally, she said she was still angry and still wanted him held accountable, but she also felt sorry for his wife. She didn't know what the right punishment was anymore. The judge gave him 2 years in prison, which was apparently way less than he could have gotten. He had to pay Beth back every penny, plus interest and damages. After the trial, I saw Beth talking to Mr. Grayson's wife in the hallway. I couldn't hear what they said, but they were both crying. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt like my brain was broken. I'd expected to sit through some boring case about a guy who got caught speeding or something.